Hi there. In Patrick Bet David's book, Your Next 5 Moves, it gives us a lot of business principles. Here we see that we have 10 business principles. For today, I'm going to cover the 10 questions to ask before you start raising money. What are the top questions that Patrick Bet David tells us to ask before we start raising money? Hi there. If this is your first time to log on this channel, please do subscribe to it, like it, and share it. Also, at the end of it, you're going to find the link to the book, Your Next 5 Moves, in the description box below. And also, I'm going to give you my top secret to raising money at the end of this video. So let's get started. The number one thing that Patrick told us to do or question to ask before we raise money is, do you actually need to raise money? Should you raise money? And that question may sound strange to someone. Someone might say, well, yeah, of course I do. Sometimes you can bootstrap instead of actually raising money because money costs money. At some point, you're going to have to pay that money back if it's a loan, or you're going to have more money leaving your business if it's an investment. And some other things that we're going to talk about as well. So your first question is, should I raise money or can I bootstrap this until I'm successful? Number two, if you cannot raise money, what will you do? You got to be showing investors, as Patrick tells us, you got to be showing the investors that you can still raise money or you can still run the business if you are unable to raise money. Because that then means you have really mastered your game and you are on top of what's going on. Number three, how will the money be spent? In my experience, a lot of people want to raise money from investors to pay themselves fat salaries. Investors don't want that. Investors want to know, what are you going to do with that money to bring in more money? That's why they're investing in you, not for you to pay your rent, not for you to drive around in a nice car. But how are you going to use that money to either improve your marketing, to buy some intellectual property, to hire the best sales staff? What is it you're going to do with the money? You got to have it in mind. And it's got to link into bringing money. It should not be linked into not bringing in extra income. For example, if you are driving a nice car, that's not an investment. That's an expense. It's not going to bring in more money. Okay. So you've got to be thinking about using the money you're getting from investors to get more money in. Number four, what does the ideal investor look like? Do you want an investor who's going to open new marketing doors for you, who's going to open up new doors of opportunity, like perhaps they're going to link you to a buyer who is in another country, or they're going to open up foreign markets to you? Is that the kind of investor you want? Or are you simply looking for somebody with money? These are important questions to ask. Number five, do you want to keep total control? Do you want to keep control of your business? Do you want someone else telling you what to do? Sometimes, as entrepreneurs, we don't like people telling us what to do. We want to keep total control. If you want to keep total control, there's a kind of investment you cannot go for. You'll not be able to go for a VC investment because they're going to want to tell you what to do. Or you may have an uncle who has a lot of money because he has been involved in business, or an auntie that has a lot of money, she's been involved in business, and you know her to be the kind of person who wants to tell you what to do. Well, if you don't like being told what to do, maybe that's not the kind of investor you should go for. Number six is, do you want accountability? This kind of links to the previous question. Are you looking for somebody to be passive or active? If you're looking for passive investment, a bank is more suitable, or a friend who you know will let you do what you want. But if you do not want to be accountable, then there's a kind of investor you should not go for. Make sure you've decided that in your mind before you go for particular types of investment. Patrick asked this, have you done enough research about your industry so that you know so much that by the time you go to an investor, the investor is persuaded that you're not wasting their time because you've researched your industry so well? What makes your business model different? That follows on from the previous question on have you done enough research. Investors are going to be looking at what makes you different. One of the things we need to understand is that by the time an investor has made money and they're willing to give you money, it means that they are really smart. A lot of people think investors just have money, they just happen to stumble upon it. No. Most investors have worked hard to get that money, and they're not just willing to throw that money around, so to speak. So having something different and being able to explain it, this is important. Being able to explain how you're different is so critical. I remember going to a particular pitch with investors, and this group came on to pitch to the investors. You know what? I sat there thinking, what exactly are they selling? And I just thought, okay, maybe it's just me. Maybe I don't understand what they're selling. Maybe other people understand, because everybody was nodding. And I was thinking, oh, well, I don't understand what they're selling. And when they finished, the investor said, okay, what exactly are you selling? I said, good. Because I didn't understand what they were saying. They could hardly explain what their business model was. So either they don't have one or they don't know how to explain. But you've got to be able to do both. You've got to have one and you've got to be able to explain it. All right. Number 9. What is the value of your company? Have you valued your company so far, or what will the value become when you have investment? Very important. And do not overvalue your company, because investors can easily find out. And number 10, according to Patrick, he says, are you building to sell? What is your exit strategy? Some investors only want to invest in your business because there's going to be an upside at some point in the next 3 to 5 years or 10 years or whatever. And some just want to invest for the long term. They don't want you to sell the business. They want the business to keep bringing in returns annually. If that's the kind of business you want to run, you need to let people know. All right. Those are Patrick's 10 questions to ask before you start raising money. Don't go away. I'm going to give you one more. This is my own top secret for raising money, and I know it works all the time. Let me tell you what it is. It is proof of concept. Whenever you can demonstrate that you have proof of concept, you are more likely to get the investment you're looking for than not. Let me give you an example. I remember going to a particular, and again, another pitch investors meeting. And this guy came on and he had done research, and it was something to do with games. I don't understand the game industry, but it's something to do with games. And he had created this game that had had so many users downloading and playing that game. I'm talking in the thousands. You know what? When he could show the figures of the subscribers and the figures of the users of that game, those investors were sold. They were like, okay, we want to talk to you after. Whenever you have a proof of concept, it doesn't have to be you don't have to have made thousands of sales, but you should have generated some sales that shows that this idea is actually viable. A proof of concept shows that your idea is viable. If you do not have proof of concept in terms of sales, perhaps even users or subscribers or email list, you got to have some kind of proof. Because if you're saying that you're going to make £1 million a year, but you cannot show that in the past 1 month you have made £10,000 worth of sales, how should the investor believe you that by giving you more money, you're going to make $1 million? You need to be able to show, I've made 5,000 sales. I've made even 100 sales. Proves that your concept works, as opposed to, I'm going to sell 1 million copies of this and I've not made even one sale yet, but I want your money to go and generate the sale. Sometimes it doesn't quite work like that, but proof of concept is a very strong message to investors that they can trust you and they can give you money because they are going to make more money. All right. Thank you so much for listening to this. Like I said, if you look in the description below, you'll find the link for Patrick's next 5 moves. Okay. But before we go, let's go over what Patrick told us. 10 questions to ask before you start raising money. Should you raise money at all? If you cannot raise money, what would you do? How will the money be spent? What does the ideal investor look like? Do you want to keep total control? You need to figure that out. Do you want accountability? Have you done enough research? What makes your business model different? What is the value of your company? And are you building to sell or building for keeps? All right. Thank you so much for following us today. It's good to have you along. Please do subscribe to the channel. And if you look in the description box below, you'll find the link to Patrick's book called Your Next 5 Moves. This is Boomy Tokan saying God bless you and see you in the next video. Bye-bye.